Breaking news tonight, a seismic shift in global politics that the mainstream media never saw coming. President Trump has just had a direct phone call with Vladimir Putin, and what happened next has left War Machine in Washington absolutely stunned. Peace negotiations for Ukraine are now on the table, and NATO's gravy train is grinding to a halt, but that's not all. While the establishment scrambles to maintain control, Trump's sweeping domestic actions are sending shockwaves from the border to the bureaucracy. We've got exclusive details about how this masterful diplomatic move connects to the complete dismantling of the deep state apparatus. And speaking of apparatus, yes, your energy bills are rising at a historic rate with no end in sight. Studies reveal energy costs have skyrocketed by as much as 60% in just 2 years. That's why tens of thousands of Americans are installing this groundbreaking device to slash their energy bills. Plug it into your home's wall outlet and start lowering your energy consumption immediately. Visit don'twastepower.com and get 65% off with the limited time deal, plus fast shipping and a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. Don't wait. Order yours at don'twastepower.com before they sell out. Okay, Pam Bondi, our new head of the Department of Justice, she had a press conference today, highly anticipated press conference, where she went absolutely scorched earth. Gunther Eagleman saying, the hammer of justice is swinging. Pam Bondi went scorched earth. This is huge. Listen to this.
Being back here. So thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them. With me today, I'm so back here.
So we're now seeing lawsuits filed against Kathy Hochul, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder in the state of New York, friends. Buckle up, because the hammer of justice is swinging. President Trump has directed this to stop, says AG Pam Bondi, after announcing action to hold New York and its officials accountable for violating federal immigration law. Okay, let's see. If you're a state that's not complying with federal law, you are next.
President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply, strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready, President.
It's about time. Here we go. Again, DOJ filing charges against the state of New York. Kathy Hochul, AG Letitia James, DMV Commissioner Mark Schroeder. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over Americans. It stops today. Rapid Response 47, just 7 hours ago, reverse flow illegal immigrants streaming back home after being blocked by Trump's border. Oh, they are just going back home. Washington Times headline, they are streaming back home. Border czar Tom Homan, he's firing back. Libs of TikTok 24 hours ago. He's firing back at the Pope. Did you hear about this? Yeah, the Pope is trying to... I don't know. What is he trying to do, really? I mean, the guy lives behind walls of his own. Border czar Tom Homan firing back.
The Catholic Church and fix. I look at how it works for the Pope. Pope won't fix the Catholic Church. I'm saying this as a lifelong Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. I was first communion as a Catholic, confirmation as a Catholic. You ought to fix the Catholic Church and concentrate on his work and leave border enforcement to us. He wants to attack us from securing our border. He's got a wall around the Vatican, does he not? So he's got a wall around to protect his people and himself, but we can't have a wall around the United States. So I wish he'd stick to the Catholic Church and fix that and leave border enforcement to us.
Yeah, yes. Stick to your jurisdiction. buddy. Okay, so a lot is happening on the domestic front. This is huge, but we are not done yet. We're going to go overseas. Let's take a look at what's happening on the NATO front. The U.S. has now confirmed that Ukraine will not join NATO, and no U.S. troops will be deployed to Ukraine. That is, I've said it for a long time, that one of the main reasons that we have seen this this aggression from Russia is because of NATO saying we want, or Ukraine saying we want to go to NATO, NATO agreeing, and Putin's like, "What are you doing? Stop!" Right? So the U.S. now confirming that ain't happening.
There also the United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, any security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. If these troops are deployed as peacekeepers to Ukraine at any point, they should be deployed as part of a non-NATO mission, and they should not be covered under Article 5. There also must be robust international oversight of the line of contact. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
Well, I should hope not. We can't have U.S. troops in Ukraine without question. No way. You know why? Because they become targets, and it only creates more ability for that conflict to expand and draw us into it. Here, this is from NATO. They posted this 17 hours ago. This is their official X account. NATO is keeping our people safe today. What about tomorrow? We need to invest more now in our defense. And who pays for that? I mean, we pay for the majority of NATO. And of course, remember back in 2016 when President Trump first took the Oval Office, he said it's time for NATO allies to pay up, and they started paying up. Well, the sheriff's back, and NATO better pay up, or maybe we just back out. Maybe that's why they're saying we need to increase our spending. Here we have Mark Root. Good to welcome the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to Brussels. We discussed the urgent need to increase defense spending and boost industrial production. We also talked about the critical support that NATO allies, including Canada, provide Ukraine. Well, yeah, Justin Trudeau is not going to be having many of those trips much longer, as he's going to be seeing the door very soon. Ukraine will not be invited into NATO. This is the way. Hexit Defense Secretary Pete. No NATO membership, no return to pre-2014 borders, no U.S. troops in Ukraine, no more relying on U.S. for the majority of military funding. It is official. Ukraine will not join NATO. I mean, that's huge, huge news. And that's the first step towards creating a peace talk between Ukraine and Putin. Very, very important. Okay. 24 hours ago, the Secretary of Defense met with U.S. Africa Command General Langley and his leadership team, focusing on a smarter, more effective engagement. U.S. will stand strong against threats, but African partners must take the lead on their security. Yeah, it's time for you guys to stop relying on the U.S. for everything. Okay, get it together and defend yourself. Okay. Here we have more from Secretary of Defense. Arriving at NATO headquarters, our commitment is clear. NATO must be stronger, more lethal force, not a diplomatic club. Time for allies to meet the moment. Wow. So we will not be, Ukraine is not joining NATO, and there will be no troops on the ground. Speaking of Ukraine, we have some more here. Tim Cast, this is Tim Pool, explains why people don't trust the letter agencies anymore, even if you only started paying attention recently. This should resonate. And this is Native Patriot says this is one of the better rants that I've heard from Tim Pool.
And the Americans completely agree, and I blame the CIA, the FBI, and the other intelligence agencies. How about when Eric Ciaramella filed that complaint against Donald Trump and Vindman brought it forward? This is CIA agents lying to the American people about what Joe Biden was doing with Burisma. And you know what? I know it's only surface level, but I'm going to say it again. The American people have a right to know to a great degree what is going on with our government and why we are involved in foreign countries. Joe Biden flies to Ukraine. His son's involved in an energy company, largely presumably having to do with the Gazprom gas monopoly, as I bring it up 800 million times. So the U.S., through the CIA, with the CIA counterterrorism director on the board of Burisma, along with the president's son, is trying to operate in what they call American interests, despite the fact the American people reject it outright. And when Joe Biden flies over there, right after his son called saying, please help, the prosecutor in Ukraine is investigating the founder of the company that we're using as a CIA front to go up against the gas monopoly because we want to build a pipeline through Qatar and Turkey. I'm not going to get into all of it. Let me put it this way. The American people do not want to be involved in Ukraine, do not want the vice president flying to Ukraine and offering $1 billion in loan guarantees for any reason. And no matter what the American people say, they keep doing it. And when
they keep doing it, but that party is over. Vigilant Fox, Tucker Carlson claims, a report here, claims that up to half of U.S. weapons sent to Ukraine are being resold on the black market, including the Mexican drug cartels. Quote, this is a fact. Let's take a look at Elijah Schaefer covering this.
Tucker Carlson is in the news again as he accuses Ukraine of reselling U.S. weapons to Mexican cartels. This is a true story, by the way. Several bombshell claims were made on Tucker Carlson's show while he interviewed Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, a retired United States Army officer who was awarded a Bronze Star for valor in Afghanistan. Carlson stated that billions of dollars worth of U.S. arms are being siphoned off and sold to America's enemies. While the black market arms trade in Ukraine during the war has been long documented, including in mainstream media sources, Carlson and his guest, Colonel Davis, agreed that many weapons have made it into the hands of Mexican drug cartels, among other criminal organizations. Ukraine receives American weapons. They are skimmed by Ukrainian military officials who then sell them to the cartels, the show attested or asserted. I have a full video clip for you here. Check this out. Here he is on the show. Watch.
Second fact, not guess, fact is Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, okay? Not speculation. And they're selling it, and a lot of it's winding up with the drug cartels on our border. So this is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are. I can't prove that, but I believe that. What they don't know this. I know this, but they don't know this. They know this. And no one is saying it. Like, no American seems aware of this. We're sending these arms to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's being stolen and sold to our actual enemies. Like, what the? I'm trying not to.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? Okay, and then we got this. Oh, here's our new Director of National Intelligence. And this was posted 9 hours ago by Liz Churchill. Good luck, Deep State. Mitt Romney called me treasonous liar. This is Tulsi Gabbard talking with Tucker.
Is anything to call me a treasonous liar was saying, hey, there are U.S. funded, DOD funded biolabs in Ukraine that should be secured because there's a war going on over there. And the last thing we or the world needs is anything going on in those biolabs being unleashed in a way that could pose a threat to people. That was seen as...
but I should just say you weren't guessing.
No.
You got that, or it was confirmed in any case, in a public exchange in the Senate between Marco Rubio of Florida, the sitting Republican senator, and Victoria Nuland, the Undersecretary of State, who volunteered it on camera.
Yes.
So...
And it was on the DOD website talking about their long history of funding these biolabs, not only in Ukraine, but in many other countries.
Of course, because
around the world,
outside U.S. law. Right. So they can, and it's bioweapons research, obviously. But you were just,
for research purposes.
I think you said that. You just said basically what the Undersecretary of State said in the Senate.
Oh, yeah. We're not done yet. That's all what's going on with Ukraine. Let's now jump over to what's going on with Vladimir Putin. Here is the president 5 hours ago.
In Munich, and we're going to be meeting, actually tomorrow they're meeting in Munich, as you know, and we're going to have some other meetings, and I'll be dealing with President Putin largely on the phone, and we ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia. The first time we'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster. It's a really bloody, horrible war. And
Yeah, it's time to end it. Here's Charlie Kirk on President Trump going to Russia. What?
Body politics. Oh, and here's the big news, everybody. Woo, it's the big one. You ready? It's going to shake the very body politic of D.C. You can feel the trembling, the screaming.
Yeah. President Trump going to Russia. Democrats will surely lose their mind on this one. Here we have more. Donald Trump says Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to negotiate the end of the war in Ukraine. This person, Brianna Morello, says this infuriates me. Well, let's hear what she has to say.
Now both sides are. So you're saying it was always possible. It was always possible to end the war in Ukraine, and all he had to do was cut off the funding. President Trump has only been in the White House for 3 weeks, and he just managed to possibly end the war in Ukraine. Now both sides are coming to the negotiation table to work out a deal. The Biden regime has been funneling our money into this war for years now. And guess what, folks? Ukraine was always going to lose this war. They were always going to lose land. It's infuriating because 700,000 Russian and Ukrainian men were forced to fight this war for no reason. And they died. Our money went to that. Endless blank checks cut for Ukraine. And according to Zelensky, they didn't even receive all the money. Folks, we have to investigate. People need to go to prison for this. Okay? These men died for nothing. Nothing. This whole time, both sides would have came to the table if we stopped funding their war. Those on the right have been talking about this since day one. And what happened? Nobody cared. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. Yes, this is an incredible moment for the Trump administration, but gosh, man, we have to live now with the fact that our money went to kill 700,000 Russian, Ukrainian men. And now those families will never recover from this.
Yeah, that's what you get, man. Keep funding the war. More people die. We just want to see people. We just want to see peace. Okay? Is Trump going to visit Putin in Russia? Here's more from Real America's Voice and Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. And Trump is a true believer in making a deal. Go to Russia? Why not? Why can't I do that? Reagan did that. Why can't I go to Russia? Oh, no, you can't do it. Same reason he went to North Korea. Go sit down with Vladimir Putin. Strike a deal. End the killing. You see, but D.C. is full of below average operator bureaucrats that are infected with the same disease. It's not about peace. It's about war. It's not about prosperity. It's about a quagmire. President Trump continues. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we'll begin by calling Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something I'll be doing right now. By the way, I think this is all incredibly interesting timing. JD is at the Munich Security Conference this weekend. Woof. Oh, the shadow government and the deep state, they are not happy. They want more people dead. The shadow government's fine, 1 million people dead. Let me be as morally clear as I possibly can. Joe Biden rejecting peace deals that, by the way, would have been even better for Ukraine in 2022 than they are today in 2025, which got over 1 million people killed. Joe Biden will be responsible for one of the greatest crimes against humanity of this generation. Probably up there with George W. Bush. Completely senseless. And Joe Biden and Tony Blinken and Kamala Harris and that entire cabal of criminals, they said, oh, no, we can't broker peace. But now the peace deal that is on the table is far better for Russia than the one if they would have accepted that. And we told them in Istanbul, you got to take this deal. Oh, no, can't do that because we can't bend the knee to Russia. And these people are responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of women and children. I've asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's doing a great job, by the way. Great job. Marco Rubio, John Ratcliffe, Michael Walls, and more to lead negotiations, Steve Witkoff. I feel strongly we'll be successful. Millions of people have died in a war that never would have happened if I was president, but it did happen, so it must end. So no more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. By the way, Here's the front page of the Wall Street Journal. Mark Fogel, Joe Biden didn't get him home.
Nope.
Right there, kissing the ground when he comes into America.
Amen. We're living in a different time. Finally, we have peace on the table here. Here's the Fox News report.
President Trump has spoken with Russian President Putin, and some details come directly from the president. He has just put out on his Truth Social, and so it's everywhere now, that they discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, and the dollar. He also revealed the two agreed to visit each other's countries. He said, I had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. I just read what he said they talked about. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people, as we likewise lost so many. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, so this is Trump posting about his recent call just moments ago with Putin. He said, but first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We also have agreed to our respective terms, starting negotiations immediately. And we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I will be doing right now. So this is playing out contemporaneously as we're here live on Outnumbered. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of CIA John Radcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly about will be successful. Millions.
It's time. It's long overdue. We need to get this thing done. Too many lives have been lost. Too much money has been spent, and the American people are pissed. It's time. Okay? It's time. We need peace. So the significance of what we've witnessed today can't be overstated. President Trump's direct negotiation with Putin isn't just about ending a war. It's about dismantling the entire corrupt system that profits from endless conflicts. No NATO memberships for Ukraine, no U.S. troops on the ground, no more blank checks. Meanwhile, here at home, Trump's DOJ is taking unprecedented action against sanctuary states with charges filed against Governor Hochul and other New York officials. This is what real leadership looks like. So here's tonight's question for our viewers. If President Trump can negotiate peace with Putin in one phone call, what does it tell you about the last 4 years of endless funding for Ukraine? Show your support for America First with our bold MAG Avengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.